Hello, and welcome in. Inspired by the talented PricklyAlpaca, also known as Kira, and her amazing character design videos, a few weeks ago I posted on my Instagram asking my community for photos or a set of emojis that I could use to turn into characters. I would occasionally make requests to turn things into other things, so this wasn't too far off from what I've done, but still a bit different. I chose to do this as a way of bettering my character design and hopefully get more confident in using my creativity in it. Let's begin. The first submission I received was this photo of a penguin. I was really trying my hardest not to turn every one of the submissions into some type of human. Though as you can see, we went straight into a human design. The chain to create the curve of the chest, a mask for the beak, kind of paperboy hat for the roundness of that curved shape on its head. I scrapped it all though and started over. I wanted to try to make a character based solely off of the elements given in the image. So penguin and ice penguin. I kept the cape and chain because the chain matching the curve I thought was a great idea, but instead of a hat, I made a floating crown. The shape is curved similar to the design on the head, so I thought it would be fitting. The most difficult part was to emulate ice. No, I did not look up ways to draw ice, though I did remember a fun tutorial I watched on how to create a diamond-like effect, and I applied it here. Next time I'll look up how to draw ice so they would look cooler and more accurate to an ice penguin that I had originally envisioned. Do you like them and their little scepter? They're pretty cute, huh? The first set of emojis received. What a great collection. I was excited to get into this. I have fairies in my world. I usually draw them like this, and they have their human counterparts. I first drew this fairy in her human counterpart because I felt like more detail could be given in this form. I just realized I didn't do anything closely resembling a cupcake. Like, I made the skirt to have layers and ruffles like a cupcake. Paper holder things? But you can't tell that here. I'm sorry. I'll make it more obvious in her fairy form though. For the sparkles, I chose to do the... What would these be? Coattails? But she's not wearing a coat. Anyways, I chose to do these coattails in the shape of sparkles to have that implemented and put sparkle designs on the tights, even though they're not very visible. The cherries were a fun thing to incorporate. I made it seem like they're buns on top of the head, and I did thin braids of the hair to represent stems, and the bow at the end to be like the leaves. I chose a more bulbous blouse for more roundness because of the cherries, and I think it came out pretty cute. I chose not to look up outfit ideas. I wanted to force my brain to be more creative with the outfit, and I could have found something online that would have been better than this. It's a solid start, I think. I could have done more reds, but I was scared. I did this challenge to test myself and I stopped myself. Maybe we will do a redesign of this character in the future. So this one was very cute to do. And enemies to lovers, either cats or bunnies. I chose to do one of each animal. I did end up giving them human versions too though, because I was like, there needs to be more here, okay? What would they look like as humans? And I was thinking of what kind of enemies to lovers they would be. Maybe like academic rivals, or maybe like they own separate bakeries and their stores are next to each other, so every day they're coming up with different recipes to one-up each other, so they're creating these crazy elaborate pastries and stuff. And then when they get together, they combine the stores to make one big bakery. Wow, fantastic. I just came up with that as I'm writing the script. This is gonna be canon in my universe, okay? Bakery rivals to lovers. It would be perfect. Oh, also, for the human designs, I chose to do cute cone hair buns and a bob to create the cat face silhouette. And then I chose bubble braids to try to create a bunny ear vibe. I did, in fact, go online to search up any bunny ear hairstyles. The one I liked most was the bubble braids, so I stuck with that. And glad I did. I love how they came out. Also, to me, all calicos, if human, would have vitiligo. It just makes sense to me. Oh, look at them! Oh my god. I also chose to do a different line art style for this. Not sure how I feel about it, but I did end up doing it a few more times going forward. Anyways, here they are, our enemies to lovers. Baker rivals. This had me cracking up when I read the submission. Granted, I did say memes were acceptable just so I could get at least one photo submitted. So I did go down the easier route for this one by making the image presented into the whole character. But I feel like it was a fun call because now we have a goofy magician bird on our hands. I feel like this character would be a well-known magician, but well-known in a way that he's known for being a messy and forgetful magician. His bunnies would somehow disappear from where he left them. The flowers in his hat would stay in there for too long that they start to fuse to his head, hence the flowers stuck there. His show would definitely start with a musical number that he sings himself, but he does this all with pizzazz. Would you see his show? Okay, this one was interesting to get into. A Gachapon machine. So you see here, I start with a human, a jester, juggling the Sanrio balls from the Gachapon, and I dressed them in the Sanrio character's attire and stuff. The story would have been a Gachapon-like jester, not knowing what you're going to receive from them. Is that all jesters? But once again scrapped because human! Instead, I turned the machine into a robot being controlled by a frog, who would be juggling the balls. Legend has it, this frog lives in the machine, and depending on how they're feeling that day, determines what kind of ball you receive. I thought this version was cuter, though the jester does sound like a fun concept to mess with. I also like drawing fat little frogs, so this one I thoroughly enjoyed. What are your thoughts? Do you think I should have stuck with the jester? Pixel, lipstick, and the fox. I will not ignore. You did amazing. Thank you. I immediately thought of Beastars when drawing this. I was like, okay, fox putting on lipstick, and created a beautiful fox putting on lipstick. It wasn't until a few days ago, as I was editing this video, I realized I didn't put the pixel element in, so I played around with the glitch effect on Procreate. It didn't do what I wanted it to, but it was good enough. If I had to start over though, I would have done this as a pixel drawing or drawn it like a pixel video game with the fox standing in front of a tall lipstick or something. Either way though, I really like how the fox looks. Never drawn a fox before, and I was using the emoji as reference. So yeah, I think it's not too bad. If I did start over though, I would use reference, of course. Someone submitted a photo of their cat, and I thought, perfect. I zoomed into the image of the bag and read that it is tuna and salmon flavored kibble. So I decided to turn this kitty into a Fisherkitty. I'm not the best at drawing fish. I didn't look up a reference for salmon until later in the process. As you can see, not pulling up references, a constant theme throughout this video. I really like how the fish came out in the end after the reference. Also, that is my take on drawing a tuna without reference on the cooler there. I think I should do a challenge on drawing fish and birds because they both are not my strong suit. I gave this little kitty some overalls and a fisher hat. I tried to go for a lake fishing type vibe. Here they are. I think they look super cute and proud to catch such fine fish. This one was cute. I've never drawn a hedgehog before. Well, never drawn a lot of things here, as we have already seen. But this was a fun challenge, I'd say. I thought the hedgehog would be difficult to draw because of the spikes, but it actually came out not bad. I turned them into a hedgehog who sells teacups and plates that were painted by themselves. They look so cute with the cup on their head. I thought that was like a fun idea to put like a little cup on its head. I really made myself giggle while drawing this one, and I think the style I chose went well with it too. I used the 6B pencil brush for the line art and the Spectra brush for coloring and shading to give it more children's book type of feel, you know? I imagine this character would be in a children's book of some kind where we would follow them on their journey of selling dishes and spreading their craft far and wide. Though not sure if the dishes are meant to be used for food or outfits? I guess it depends on the customers purchasing these wares. They came out super cute. I think I'll also add them as an official member to my universe since I don't have a hedgehog character. I'll have to think of a name later. Unless y'all have one, feel free to suggest names for any of these characters. Unicorn! Next is a unicorn and bow emoji. Y'all, how does one draw the body of a horse? Cause I was struggling. As you can see me draw multiple bean-shaped bodies. There was a moment of silence as I pulled up a photo of a horse cause I kept failing so much. Then I thought, oh my god, it's too bulky for my cartoony horse that I want. So I pulled up the last unicorn cause I like the way the unicorn looks there, and you can see me be heavily inspired by the body and the skinny weeny legs. Same goes for the eye, cause I really enjoy the big ol' eyes on the unicorn. Though I gave my unicorn eyeshadow. You can see I almost fall into the My Little Pony territory with the cutie mark. I took it away cause I was like, you are not in My Little Pony. But then that area was suddenly so blank, so I went in with putting spots. Then I added these same spots in different areas as well. As you can also see, I did in fact draw a human counterpart here, still with the horn though, because why not? This is also the drawing. I suddenly remembered that you can give your characters any type of skin color you want, so I did the same color as the unicorn body, and it looks amazing. A great choice. 10 out of 10, very happy, very pleased. The spots on the body also glows along with their horn. I thought it would add an extra layer of magic if I did that, and it did. The hair was reminding me of my character Angelique, whom I was close to turning into a unicorn when I was doing my 10 art styles challenge. Haha, check it out. I think they will add so much to my world. So this one was a bit difficult for me to wrap my head around, but it made it extra fun to figure out. I went for a cat-like dragon. Don't mind that beginning normal cat head I drew. I'm afraid that was the original I was going for until I remembered, at least I think, that Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon was based off of a cat, yes? So I decided to draw a kind of cat-esque dragon. I know they do look incredibly similar to Toothless. He is what I was picturing in my head, though I did add alterations, of course. I made more drapey wings and a skinnier tail to somehow highlight jellyfish tentacles. I don't know if you would think, oh, jellyfish, if you looked at them, but that's what my mind came up with. And I changed the colors to a more purplish blue to match a blueberry, or at least how blueberries look after they're cooked. I also drew a human counterpart for this one. The design looked familiar as I was drawing it. I added the stripe marks because the emoji of the cat has tabby stripes. Also happy with the colors. It now reminds me of that one dragon in Dragon Tales. Another cute character on its way. A cat character. Okay, when it comes to main cats, I usually draw them all the same. My usual go-to is chubby fluffy cat, and that is what I drew here. I threw them in a dress and apron and made their bowl hat nice and long, and their spoon spatula for cupcake making is heart-shaped. I basically made a magical pastry cat, and this is their transformation scene. I have to admit though, kind of let myself down with this one. My creativity slowly left me while I was working on the ones prior, because this is just a character I would have already created and probably have drawn. A backstory perhaps would be they are an arch nemesis of my OC Pip, and it continues on like a Tom and Jerry relationship. The backstory helps me like them a bit more, though I would redo their entire look if I bothered to. This one was also a cute outcome, yet again an easy out for me. A gardening goose who sells sunflowers. A very straightforward take on the emojis, I know. Also to draw them in a hat and big old boots, how could I pass that up? I didn't know what to do with the sun at first, and realization hit. Sun around the eye. I swear a stuffed animal like this exists somewhere. Or maybe I was channeling those Littlest Pet Shop figures with decorations on them. Anyways, with how simple they came out, I'm very happy with them, and they'll definitely be added to my world as a character with ever-changing large boots. Boom, photo of tea and some fun-looking pastries, easy. A traveling snail with its teapot shell made into a bakery for a little cat to sell freshly made goods. I love turning things into buildings. Exhibit A. Okay, it's so fun. I used that nicely rounded spoon as inspiration for the snail's body. The nose was also inspired by this little magnet dude I have, and it fits so well. Fantastic. 10 out of 10, very pleased with this one. This critter is definitely going to appear in future illustrations, okay? Oh my god, it's like a food truck. How fun is that? Now I have an idea to make more snail-like food trucks. Our last submission is this little night light lamp thing. I believe it's a beet? A beet critter? So I turned it into a glowing beet critter. Surely I was inspired by some kind of rodent, I think, but this character would be picking beets to sell or care for. Who knows? Only this fella does. I used the white pot in the photo to be used as a basket of some kind. Maybe these are magical beets, hence the glow, and they are extra special. They also have faces, so maybe they can talk too or something. Oh my god, maybe they can sing? Maybe they are singing beets. Like Veggie Tales. That's their story. They're singing vegetables, and the beet critter carries them around so they can sing for the towns and get money for their beet family farm. Perfect, that's their backstory. So that is the end. I hope you enjoyed watching me tackle this challenge I put myself through. It was very fun to work on, and I hope to do this more to help me practice. Though next time I'll probably do less characters in each video and do a series, just so I have more time to really focus and dive into maybe 3 to 4 character creations instead of doing them all within a week like I did here. Did you have a favorite of these? Do you have any backstories to give these characters? Any name ideas perhaps? Please let me know down below. And as usual, have a beautiful day or night wherever you are. Goodbye!